My stepmother did something I never expected. I never thought my life would change the day my father remarried. I was 22, just out of university, and ready to start working at a law firm in the city. My mother had passed away 3 years prior after a long battle with cancer, and my father had slowly crawled out of that dark place. When he introduced me to Diana, his new wife, I didn't know how to react. She was only 35, just 13 years older than me. Young, attractive, with an elegance that made her seem like someone out of a movie. Her dark brown hair fell in soft waves over her shoulders, and her voice was gentle, almost melodic. She was nothing like my mother, yet something about her intrigued me instantly. I tried to be polite. After all, Dad seemed happy, and I hadn't seen him smile like that in years. Deanna moved into our home, a spacious suburban house with too many rooms and too many memories. I had planned to move into a small apartment near the city, but delays in paperwork kept me home longer than I'd expected. That's when everything began to shift. It started subtly. Diana would make breakfast before Dad woke up, always knowing exactly how I liked my eggs. She'd ask me about my job interviews, offer advice, and even pick out ties she thought suited me. "It's nice to have someone around who notices the little things," she said once, giving me a smile that lingered too long. I brushed it off. But then there were the accidental touches, a hand brushing against mine when she passed the salt, her fingers lingering on my shoulder when complimenting my shirt, a towel drop at the hallway corner, followed by a casual apology and a slow bend to pick it up while I stood frozen. I told myself I was imagining things. One evening, Dad was out on a business trip, and I was alone with her. We sat on the couch watching an old crime drama. Halfway through the episode, the power went out. The house dimmed into complete silence. "Oh no," Diana said, standing up. "I hate the dark." "Let me grab a flashlight," I said. "No, just stay with me." I paused, unsure, but then returned to the couch. She sat closer than usual, our knees touching. "You're not scared of the dark, are you?" she asked, her face inches from mine. "No," I replied, but my voice cracked. She reached out, placing a hand on my thigh. I stared at it, not knowing what to say. "I know you've noticed it too," she whispered. My heart was pounding. My breath caught in my throat. "I've seen the way you look at me," she continued, "and I've seen the way your father ignores me sometimes. You're the only one who really sees me." "Diana," I started, but she leaned in before I could finish. Her lips pressed against mine, software warm, forbidden. For a second, I kissed her back. Then I pulled away. "This is wrong," I said, standing up quickly. "I'm sorry," she said, standing too. I thought, I just thought maybe you wanted it too." I didn't respond. I left the room and went straight to my bedroom. I couldn't sleep all night. The next morning, she acted like nothing had happened. I avoided her as much as I could over the next few days. When Dad returned, things felt normal again. But I couldn't forget that kiss, nor could I forget how I had almost surrendered to it. Time passed. I got my job, moved out, and tried to push the memory aside. Diana didn't call, didn't text, didn't do anything. We both pretended that night never happened. A year later, I received a call from my dad. He was filing for divorce. "She's not who I thought she was," he said over the phone. "We're better apart." I asked no questions. I didn't want to hear the details, but I couldn't deny a spark of curiosity and guilt. A month after the divorce, Diana messaged me on Facebook. "Diana, can we talk?" I stared at the screen for several minutes before replying. Me. "About what?" Diana. "About us. About what happened." My heart pounded again, just like it had that night. We agreed to meet at a quiet cafe on the other side of town. She looked different, softer, like some of her weight had been lifted. She smiled at me gently, a flicker of uncertainty in her eyes. Thank you for coming, she said. I wasn't sure I should. I know, and I wouldn't have asked if I didn't think it mattered. She paused, then reached across the table to gently take my hand. I'm not your stepmother anymore, she said softly, and I haven't been able to stop thinking about you. I didn't pull my hand away. I told myself it was just a crush, she continued, just a moment of weakness, but that night, it felt real. You felt real. I swallowed hard. Diana, she leaned in. I want to be with someone who actually sees me, who listens, who cares. And I know it sounds crazy, but I think that someone is you. I stared at her for what felt like eternity. Every warning in my mind screamed for me to walk away, but every beat of my heart told me otherwise. We left the